I think with Des and I in the last, in that year with me winning New York and then that spring, her winning Boston, I think it really has changed the perspective and the outlook and the confidence of American women. I said New York this fall, I feel like the American women have this swagger about them that they look at Des and I and they're like, well, if they can do it, why can't I? And it's that whole concept of seeing people like you and feeling like if they can do it, why can't I have that moment? And so that self-belief all of a sudden just becomes a lot larger, and the bar is completely blown out of the water. The expectations are much higher now, and that's a fun place to be. I mean, to really be dreaming of these wins, and I think maybe Des and I grew up kind of with a chip on our shoulder in a sense of we were always told well, the East Africans are just better than you. You can't compete with them. I was told that a lot growing up. You're just not good enough. You're not talented enough. And so I think we always thought, well, we just have to work harder. And at times, working harder sometimes was a little bit of a self-sabotage because you get injured trying to risk for big moments. And so I think the fact that Des and I just kept plugging away year after year, just thinking is this ever going to happen? And feeling like maybe it was never going to, and feeling on the cusp of quitting. Literally, I feel ever since Rio, she and I were really frustrated, having been on an Olympic team and thinking one of us was going to medal and we didn't. That really hurt and stung. And I think, we were getting really frustrated. And it's amazing how when you get to that point where you're think you're going to give up, and right when you don't, though, that vital moment is right when things really change. And that even in the race for Des, that literally was that moment. She thought she was going to give up, and it completely changed the trajectory of her life and the history of the Boston Marathon just in that one moment. And so I think the momentum of the two of us having wins within relatively close time period is super special. And I think realizing that it's special, but also having it be such a great motivating factor for the next generation and the current generation that we have.